Nice.
GM everyone, welcome back to another episode of DevGuild. My name is Merdan, and today we are joined by Constance, Greg, and Jose from Pacifica. Hey guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Great to have you on. This is the first time we have so many people from one protocol on here, so really appreciate it. Today we'll be talking about Perps on Solana, Pacifica. We will be going over the Pacifica Hackathon, which just kicked off on Monday, I believe. And yeah, we'll go over the builder code. We will go over the APIs, SDK, and hopefully show you how to build and also what to build to kind of increase your chances of winning. Yeah, and to kick things off, I kind of want to, I'm asking you guys to give a quick intro about who you guys are, what you guys do, and what specifically you guys are doing at Pacifica. Maybe start out with Greg.
Sure, sweet. I'll first give a quick introduction to Pacifica. So as many of you know, Pacifica is a perp dex. We started building Pacifica about January last year and just went live on testnet exactly a year ago now, and just 10 months shy of mainnet at the time being. We've done a little over 140 billion volume since the beginning of Pacifica, currently at around 41,000 users and seeing about $1 billion volume on a daily basis. So there's many more about Pacifica, which I'm sure we'll get into throughout the live stream. But about myself, hey everyone, I'm Greg. I'm the head of growth here at Pacifica. So primarily anything on the non-technical front is kind of what I'm doing. So anything you're seeing on Twitter, Discord, all of our social channels, our hackathon, for example, our builder program, affiliate program, campaigns, competitions, anything really. That's what I'm up to myself.
Hey everyone, Jose here. I'm one of the co-founders at Pacifica. I work on our exchange product, our chain development, as well as our ecosystem growth. Great to be speaking with you guys.
Hi guys, Constance here. I'm one of the co-founders of Pacifica. Really nice to have the opportunity to talk to you guys today.
Great. So, there's so much to cover today, so I would say let's get right into it. At first, kind of to set the stage a bit, I want to zoom out a bit and want to talk about like perps in general, and also perps on Solana, obviously. Like, this is a kind of a hard question right away, but you know, there are so many perp venues out there. What do you guys think actually makes a great perp DEX in your eyes? Or it could also be like a perp, like perps in general. Doesn't only have to be a perp DEX. Like, what makes a good perps product?
I think in general, over the years, people are really looking for two things in terms of products and exchanges. One thing is liquidity. Another thing is the user experience. So how smooth it is when they are using, how responsive and how stable the platform is. So we see great platforms like Binance Hyperliquid. They have lots of liquidity, which makes big bulk trade go through very easily. And also they have smooth, not only onboarding, but also the overall user journey and user experiences. Everything is easy to find. You can, place trade through minimal clicks, and you actually understand the platform fairly easily without much explanation. And that's also the evolution of perp DEXs for the past 2 to 3 years. I think mostly led by Hyperliquid, which is the team and products we have a lot of respect for. I think overall, perp DEXs has been evolving really fast in the past 12 months, and we are seeing a lot of the perp DEXs catching up, and in terms of the DeFi primitive, not only on the exchange, but pushing the entire user experiences on DeFi to move much, much forward compared to like 1 or 2 years ago.
Okay, great answer, makes sense. And where do you kind of think the biggest gaps or opportunities are in the decentralized perps landscape?
Jose, do you want to take this?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the decentralized exchanges that are focusing on perps, and then it's been that way for the past, I would say, probably a good amount, like 4 years, I would say. And they started out with a couple of teams, really were the frontiers and the pioneers of the perp space, and DYDX being one of them, GMX is another. And I think like it really evolved quite a bit over the last 3 to 4 years, because the underlying technology for blockchain has really improved quite a bit, and that gives a lot more sort of open ground for developers, builders to really level up the user experience for on-chain and perp trading, and that eventually evolved into not just perp DEXs, but a lot of DEXs are getting into derivatives and spot and different types of product offering. And I think it's all sort of converging quite a bit. So we're seeing Hyperliquid being a good example, where you're seeing a good amount of liquidity there, and a lot of times, like for some markets, they're actually the lead in terms of setting price action, where tokens are discovering prices and other exchanges follow. I think for us, a big key concept is for us, like sort of our goal is to be able to offer the type of experience that a user is accustomed to when they're trading on a Binance or Bybit on a centralized exchange. And when you use that as your sort of goal, and you look at the competitive landscape on what's missing, it becomes really clear on where the gap is and how we can fill that. So spot markets, spot margin, portfolio margin, things along those lines, and more different types of like derivative, exotic derivative offerings. Like I think that sets the foundation of saying like these perp DEXs are now have a seat at the table with the big boys, right? With the big centralized exchanges that have the biggest market share, biggest volume, liquidity, the best user experience. And then from that point on, like it becomes, I believe like each different projects sort of evolves into its own shape in terms of differentiation. And one thing that I'll kind of, double click on is just, once you have the foundations of a good exchange, and that covers a lot of different basic functionalities and features and having good liquidity, it's important for different exchanges to shape into their own and have their own track that users are going to like. So we at Pacifica, we think of these foundations as the most important things to just kind of knock out and get them done. And going forward, there's a lot of different cutting edge technologies that we want to make sure we're putting ourselves in the forefront on those technologies and expand and explore what could be done in DeFi and also different emerging technologies. So that's kind of how we think about it, and I think that probably covers a lot that we can dive into in today's topic. But yeah, that's kind of how I generally view this.
Okay, makes sense. And to kind of like bring this now to Pacifica and talk about Pacifica specifically, you guys went with a hybrid approach. Maybe you could elaborate on that as well. Like, the matching engine is off-chain, and then settlement is happening on Solana. Like, what was the reasoning behind that?
I can take this. Yes. So when we decide the architecture of the underlying exchange overall approach, we really considered the execution efficiency, which is really important to have the matching logic off-chain, because apparently we definitely can put everything on-chain, but putting everything on-chain means you have to pay for every change of state, which means when you send an order or cancel an order, and also a trade getting filled, your TPSL, everything you have to pay for the gas fee. And on top of that, you also are subject to the stability of the chain. So when the traffic is high, when the volatility is high, the chain is, in general, I'm not saying this is the case for Solana, but in general, slower and more likely to be congested compared to the normal times. So these are the crucial factors that affect users' experiences. And when users are trading on exchanges, they are not normally they normally are more unlikely to think about, oh, okay, cool, this is caused by the chain. They directly will associate all the experiences with the interface and the platform they are trading on. So they would think that, oh, okay, trading on this platform is slow during a certain given period of time, regardless whether that's caused by the exchange itself or the underlying chain. So from that part, our team do understand that for decentralization, it is not a binary option. It's not either you go decentralized or not. It is more like a spectrum. It's a topic or a exploration of how decentralized you want to be. So from this perspective, we decided to optimize for user execution efficiency and user experiences. So people have instant executions. They see everything go through as fast as they can, and they do not have to pay for the change of state, which is, one of the common headaches that people are facing trading on chain. So that's the one of the biggest reasons for our off-chain matching engine. But all of our settlement is on chain. And at we do not hold any customer funds, and all the user funds are actually being held in a hot and cold wallet solution, which guarantee the maximum security for user funds, which is, to be honest, is much more safer compared to a lot of DeFi protocols where it has just one upgradable smart contract to host all the funds, because that's one single point of failure. So that's to answer the first part of your question. To answer your second part of the question, why we choose Solana, is because So for the longest time, we think that Solana has had great use cases this cycle. People were trading meme coins. People are very familiar with Solana's setups. Everyone probably have a Phantom wallet or know how to use a Phantom wallet. So that actually significantly reduce the onboarding friction that we might face in terms of, oh, I do not have this wallet. How do I send wallets or gas fees into the wallets to in order to deposit into Pacifica? And on top of that, we do think that Solana's ecosystem is a very valuable ecosystem for us to build with the community. So that's why we choose the Solana as our chain to host the settlement. And we are constantly advocating for builders either from Solana ecosystem or outside of Solana to build on top of Pacifica.
Great, totally makes sense. I'm also like a big product guy, so I think like having a product first approach, because like nowadays I feel like everyone's talking about decentralization or doing some things in a specific way, but if at the end of the day the product is really important, and as you just mentioned before, I think it was Greg, the numbers are there as well. And I want to come to another, like a different point, different question for Constance again. I know that you have a experience with Perps Access as well, with your background, with operations, where you were COO of FTX before. I'm kind of curious, like, what are the biggest differences between operating a like Perps Access and perp DEX that you are doing now?
It is definitely very different. Even though there are exchanges, a lot of times by operating something that is by nature similar, there's a lot of first principles that you can apply to both businesses. But in terms of technologies, build out architecture, it is actually very different. One of the major difference that has been underestimated and not been talked about as enough is the transparency. Because if you look at centralized exchanges, you know nothing about what happened inside. You do not know all the trades. You know about their trading volumes according to their reports. So what if the report, the volume of their report is inaccurate, right? And you do not know like how much ADL happened, whether the exchange was being stolen, or if anyone is trying to exploit or manipulate the exchange for profits or for money. But on the other hand, I'll just use Hyperliquid as the example because there were a lot of things happened in the past 12 months. When Jolly Jolly happens, when a whale was trying to manipulate the Ethereum price on Hyperliquid, everyone can see. And when 1010 happened, everyone was talking about the ADL amount on Hyperliquid, but no one's talking about how much the ADL is on Binance, Bybit, OKX, and all these centralized exchanges. Because given the size of the trading volumes on different exchanges, I would assume that Binance would have a much, much bigger ADL and overall liquidation compared to Hyperliquid. But no one's talking about it because you don't know. And when Jolly Jolly happened, Hyperliquid HLP lost 4 million because of the exploit, and people were panicking. However, on the exchanges and also back then and FTX, we lost way more money due to user exploration, but no one's talking about it because you don't know. That's why people don't get panicked. They think it's all fine. So this is one of the biggest challenge when you are building a DEX compared to a centralized exchange, because you have to understand, as a builder, you have to understand that everything you build is going to be transparent. It's going to be under the sun. So you can't really do sketchy things, as much as centralized exchanges. I'm not saying that there's no room, but there's definitely way less rooms compared to centralized exchanges, which is I think at different given points, exchanges have to explore their route to bootstrap their business or to continue growing, which gives centralized exchanges a lot of flexible to pull some tricks off. But on DEX, you simply do not have the opportunity of doing that, which I think is a good problem, because you do not think of shortcuts. You think of real ways to grow the business, to build a product that's going to be transparent to all your users, and you are more honest about your approach, your products, whether it's working or not, and things like that. And I think that's actually the right direction that the industry is driving towards. That's why I think for the past 12 months, there are a lot of capital and a lot of users that are flowing from centralized exchanges to decentralized exchanges. Not necessarily because they think DEXs are better. I would still think that the overall liquidity and user experiences on DEXs are still not on par with centralized exchanges. But because of factors of transparency, of I want to own my money, I want to know what's happening, I want to have the right to decide whether the exchange has handled something right or not, instead of just being at full control of the exchange. I think this is one of the biggest reasons that why people are moving. But this is not a moving like, okay, cool, I'm going to close my SEX accounts and just use DEX. I think a lot more people are use both at the same times and navigating towards DEXs, because they just have more control over their money and actions.
Oh, okay, interesting. So you think that DEXs and SEXs will basically coexist in the future, or do you think?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. It is a variety of products. It's the same as when Kindle, the ebook devices, and all you can actually read on your phone and iPad and things like that. When those type of products started coming out, people are saying like, okay, magazines and newspapers are dying. No one's gonna read print. No one's gonna read paper books. But there are still people that prefer read paper instead of screen, because you get a lot of distractions on the screen. I think it's a matter of preferences, and it's the same as trading, for trading and for almost everything in life. More variety means the industry is maturing. From Bureau's perspective, I never think that SEX will cease business, or SEX will lose their market share to the growth of DEX. I think it is a one whole big growing pie, that the SEX will be continue growing, because crypto is still a very niche industry compared to the global markets of general, right? If you look at Binance's user base, they have 250 million users. But how many people are actually, let's say, using banks or using internet in the world? And I wouldn't say that's the size crypto is gonna be, but compared to the entire population, crypto is a very, very tiny niche industry that has a lot of potential. So I would think that both SEX and DEX should co-growing instead of fighting with each other, because apparently they target different user preferences and different user profile. And also the more both product is growing, the more crypto industry is being known by the general public or by the whole world, which means we all have more opportunity to build and to grow.
Okay, totally makes sense. It's also interesting because you often hear how like perp DEXs will replace SEXs or will eat the market dominance. But this totally makes sense. I think in the future, SEXs and DEXs will totally coexist. Even though I believe personally that perp DEXs will like gain much more market dominance. and perp sexes will lose market dominance to perp dexes, but they will totally coexist. I think that too. And now kind of coming to another question, maybe for Greg or Jose, like obviously like building perps is like difficult, whether it's on a sex or a dex. I'm curious to know like what part of the stack tends to be more difficult than people expect. Like what's one challenge in this category that outsiders maybe underestimate?
I would say the one of the most challenging things, like let's say you have an excellent developer team, and you have very strong individuals on the team to help you push. One of the most important things is probably the economics of an exchange, and every exchange is going to have a cold start problem, right? Like to trade on an exchange, like as a user, you want to see like good liquidity, right, on the exchange. And good liquidity comes from market makers willing to quote on your order books because there's good flow for them to make money. So it's a chicken and egg kind of situation where you don't have flow, market makers aren't going to come and market make on your exchange, and because there's no liquidity, users are not going to come. And this chicken and egg and cold start problem is I believe one of the biggest issues most exchanges face. There are a couple ways to solve it, right? Like you either give away a chunk of your equity or tokens to a few designated market maker to provide liquidity for you, but oftentimes your incentives aren't aligned, right? Or if you have like a decent amount of capital, you can market make yourself. Or that's helpful, or you have a community vault that supplies liquidity for the exchange, but then it becomes like a conflict of interest for the depositors and the operators and users of the protocol. So finding that sweet spot that works for all of them is one of the most challenging things that a perp exchange could face, or any exchange for the matter. And I would say, a lot of us in this track are spending a lot of our time trying to figure that out. And the ones that do, will come out on top really going forward.
Totally makes sense. And now I kind of want to shift more into builder mode, because a lot of people watching, the big question is not just how this works, but also what they can build with Pacifica's tools. So Greg, can you walk us through maybe the core building blocks of Pacifica, the APIs, SDK, builder program maybe, and show us a bit what can be built with Pacifica?
Yeah, of course. Let me share my screen so you can see what I'm looking at. Is my screen viewable?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Well, yeah, like you mentioned before, building a perp text is definitely not easy. There is a lot of levels that most people don't think about when building, and builder programs like ours is kind of a very good solution to many of these problems, including the one that Jose was mentioning about the cold start, because building on top of Pacifica automatically allows you to tap into all of the liquidity that we have, that both comes from the institutional side, from all the market makers, as well as our retail flow. So you're always going to have pretty deep books here. So I can hop back to the hackathon later. But first of all, I can show you more about our builder program. So our builder program essentially allows you, or any builder that's listening here or wants to build on top of Pacifica, to essentially send orders from their users and add an additional fee on top of the fee that we charge, so that they can monetize their own platform. And the onboarding is pretty straightforward. At the moment, if you want to be included in the builder program, you have to reach out to Pacifica, whether it's on our Discord, our Telegram channels, or DM us onto the main account, or any of ours. We'll get you set up. And yeah, I can walk you a bit through it. Oh, might I add that at the moment, actually, we are leaning a lot into the builder side of things. So we actually have what we call the Builder Rewards Program, which went live about 6 days ago. So for the next 3 months, more or less, builders building on top of Pacifica are eligible to the rewards program. So more information in the link that you just showed in the screen. So pretty much just skimming through the docs, here you're going to be able to see initially here is where you send an authorization to the users on your platform to sign and agree that they are being charged an additional fee on top of our fee when trading. So this is pretty much a standard procedure where there's a maximum fee so that this protects the user from the builder putting the fee much higher at any given moment. And this keeps the control on the user's hand. So everything's pretty straightforward. And again, if you go to our API docs, which I'll cover a bit later, you'll be able to see how to do this further on as well. So here you'll see many instructions on how to send the authorization, how to revoke the authorization, and so on. And also you're going to see a few different changes that you will need to make to all the orders that you send through. It's very simple because our builder program only makes you add one additional line of code to all the orders that you're sending, which is this one to be exact. So you only have to add the builder code string where you put the code that you own, and automatically this will charge that additional fee that is then sent to your account immediately once a user has traded. So there's a lot more information here. Won't go through everything directly, but please make sure to check it out. And additionally, well, here are some more implementation notes, specifically around the signing and the data that you will be needing to add that is different to the general API or something that you can find in our SDKs. And additionally, if you keep moving down, you're going to be seeing more builder-specific tools. So, for example, when we get you on board, we will set the fee that you wish to, but you are also capable of changing the fee whenever you want yourself. So this is pretty straightforward as well. Also, since Pacifica is still in closed beta, in order for a user to use Pacifica, they need to be invited. So someone must give them a referral or an invite code. With the Builder program, we also help you get as many invites as you need in order to make the onboarding as seamless as possible with adding minimal extra steps. So all of this is generally pretty straightforward. And additionally, in our docs, we've put a few other details like the useful endpoints, where you automatically, via the API, you're going to also be able to see all the trader user information from your platforms, all your existing builder code specifications, the trade history of you as the builder, and all your users, as well as to have a leaderboard for all the users in your platform. So essentially, through the Builder API, you're going to be able to build your own builder dashboard to manage your project fully. Eventually, we will look to add this directly onto Pacifica, but at the moment, via our API, you should be able to have everything you need. And again, if you need any help, you can send us an email here, reach us out to Discord, or send a message to our Telegram portal. So yeah, pretty much this is the general information on the Builder program. And then moving on to the API itself, this is something a lot more detailed and could spend hours to cover every single thing. But essentially, if you are a user on top of Pacifica, through our API, you're going to essentially be able to do absolutely everything that you see on our front end through the API. And additionally, because our API is pretty flexible and, well, coding on top of it allows you to really do whatever you want. If you want to get started right away, we do have a Python SDK, which will get you set up very, very quickly. And we do update often, so should be up to date with anything you might need. But generally speaking, the API will be pretty straightforward for everything that you need. Between our REST API and our WebSocket, you'll be able to find everything. Whether you want to pull the order book, whether you want to see the prices, specific market information, or even send a market order or set a TPSL. Everything is here, and to be honest, extremely well organized, so very easy to navigate. And if you are using if you're vibe coding, our API docs are actually very, very friendly with many of the models out there, specifically these later Claude and OpenAI models. So getting set up should be a breeze. So yeah, I guess a little bit more, I guess I can showcase a bit what you can actually do. So at the moment on Pacifica, we have a pretty big amount of builders. These are just a few examples. We have many, many more that have been popping up with the hackathon. We highlight them in our page. And I actually wanted to highlight one of our current builders, which has started to build, because I think this product is a great example as to what extent you can actually reach when building on top of Pacifica's builder code. So what you're looking at right now is squat.fi platform. And essentially all you're seeing here, this order book, the order that's placed here, the chart, the markets, and also the place order panel is essentially opening, closing positions on Pacifica through this front end. And well, this is a gamified Bloomberg terminal of sorts built on top of Pacifica, where you have chats with your friends. You can see your squad's activity. You can create matches and battle with your friends. You can also create a squad, join different squads, enter matches and competitions, like for example this one, where you can see your friends and how they are competing with each other. So there's definitely a lot of things. This is just one example. We have many, many other builders, and specifically with Hackathon, we have around 200 builders putting up together new stuff. And just another quick example for people that are looking to do stuff that is a bit more simple. Say, for example, you're looking to build your own perp decks. I've actually put together a little example for you guys to see. So this platform is fully vibe coded with our API docs. The model that I used was Opus 4.6, and it was very quick to understand everything in our docs and literally created a perp decks for mobile very quickly, which I hosted just a few moments ago. So essentially here you would see everything that you have on Pacifica. You see it's connected to Pacifica through our API, and this is version 1. Here you have all the markets with all of our icons, which are also available through our API. So let's see, let's go into Bitcoin, for example. You see here I have the Bitcoin chart. I have the trading panel where I can set my TP, my SL, isolated across. Anything you could do on Pacifica, you can do straight here. I know the order book is a bit messed up, but that's just a little error that can be fixed easily. So you see, you can create an order through here very quickly, send it to Pacifica, and trade here. So if I were a builder and I want to build a perp dex, I can build this, get focus more on the distribution, not have to worry so much about the backend, and yeah, have a good liquidity and a good product that I can offer to my users already. So yeah, and I guess quick example I can show you here is if I go to my page here, let me see. I can just let's just open a quick long. Let's put 10. Wait, you will see I'm opening a long on World Liberty Finance, and boom, there it is. So just one more example there. And of course, like I mentioned previously, we have a hackathon going on. I will share the links with you guys so you can have a look. But we have up to 15K in cash prizes at the moment, as well as 100,000 points. It started 2 days ago, actually, so there's still plenty of time. You have almost a month to go. So there's 4 tracks. And we have quite a good panel of judges, as well as some good sponsors. Feel free to check it out. I think the link was just there up in the screen. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. That's a little bit of what people can actually get to build through Pacifica's Builder program. We're also very happy to support in whichever way we can. And needless to say, you're probably going to have 24/7 coverage where we're up all the time, making sure to help you with it all.
Great. This is exactly was my next point, the hackathon. Could you maybe take us over the tracks again?
Yeah, of course. So currently we are working on, let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit for you guys. So right now we're focusing on 4 tracks, which is trading applications and bots. So for example, what we've seen with the little PerpDex example that I've shown you, that could be a trading application or any algorithmic trading or execution layers. Then we have analytics and data, so market intelligence, P&L tracking, risk dashboards. You yourself, Merdan, actually built something that's very cool and would fit perfectly into this. So I guess you get a good idea of what I'm saying. And we have a huge amount of API endpoints that can be read. So whether you are optimizing or trying to get more granular details on your trading patterns and so on, this is something that would fit right into here. Social and gamification, so leaderboards, copy trading, competitions. This is something that would fit into squads, for example, somewhere where trading gets gamified, whether it's on the actual execution or the elements around it. And then DeFi composability can be literally anything built on top of Pacifica's Perp infrastructure. I would like to say that nowadays a lot of people are thinking of very similar ideas. So if you are looking to participate in the hackathon, please think outside of the box. There's many tools out there that can help you get to that.
Exactly. This was actually my next question, kind of like the $1 million question. What should the participants actually build? In which direction should they go? Because as you mentioned, I feel like there is obviously the Perps landscape is hyper competitive. There are multiple Perp venues that you can trade on, but it's the same for terminals and bots. So what is something, maybe if each of you can say one thing that you would give the hackers, one piece of advice, something that they should look into maybe?
Yeah, I can get started on this one. So I feel like I've answered this question many times since the hackathon has started, because everyone asks, what should I build? Is there something that you would prefer me to build over the others? Maybe surely there's other stuff that I would prefer personally. And that's precisely where they should head. They should be actually going out there and asking people, what is something that you would actually use? At the moment, specifically because of all the, I guess, the easiness of being able to code with all these agents at the moment, a lot of people are building a lot of cool things, which are interesting and actually cool to check out. But are people actually going to be using them? And that's what I think a lot of people in the space sometimes forget. You should probably do quite a little bit of market research. If you have an idea, check it with friends, check it with other people in the space that you know, and actually get an understanding. If I made this, would you use this? If not, what would you change? What would you add to it? And try to find a consensus of something that is actually useful. Make something useful, make something people will use. I know it's easier said than done, but that should be a North Star for everyone.
Jose, Constance, do you guys have any input on this?
I would probably just really echo what Greg said. You want to be building one for yourself, as a user of a PerpDex, what are you looking to do, right? What do you think is missing that would drastically help your trading experience? And try to find, users that really align with you and then can resonate with what you're facing, whether it's a problem or some kind of ideas that you have, and try to validate that idea when you're building. And that creates a good feedback loop on how you should iterate and build your product. We don't want to, put out bounties and for people to work on, something that we think should be done, because really what we want is for this to be a canvas, right? Like our API, our builder tools, and the sponsors we've got for the hackathon, it really are just a canvas of different tools that allow your creativity, allow you to express how you think certain products should be built, and we're here to support you. So that's kind of how I would frame our intention here.
Totally makes sense. Constance, do you maybe have an idea, or like if Constance would participate in this hackathon, what would she build?
Wow. So so there's two parts of me that in terms of building. On one hand, when you build, and for any builders, you should build for monetizations, because you're gonna eat and the team's gonna eat at the end of the day. If you can't generate meaningful cash flows to support you keep going, it's really hard to last long term, and reach to the given point that, okay, cool, I have actually built out my vision. So that's on the serious side of building a product that's actually cater to users' needs, or even better, cater to a gap in the industry. I think a few months ago, probably 6-7 months ago, when perp dexes just started getting traction again, there were a lot of people building aggregators, and there were a lot of people building something that get you connected to multiple perp dexes through one click, and can run strategies or preset strategies through one click on their platform, and you can also farm multiple perp dexes at the same time, which were very high in demand because there were too many options and people do not know where to trade, right? Those are the typical product that cater to a gap in the industry, which is exactly what user needs at that given point, and could easily get monetization. So when builders built, and also when we started building Pacifica, we have to think about things like this, because you literally can't build for something just to fulfill your dream without thinking about how do I make money on top of it, because without cash flow, you cannot last. So that's a very important primitive to think about. And on top of that, and the second layer, and it's also the other side of me, always want to do fun things. I think building shouldn't be boring. Your product shouldn't be boring. A serious product doesn't mean they are a boring product. A great product means that it is fun to use. And there's many ways to define what is fun. A smooth as chocolate user experience is fun, right? Because you do not have to worry about anything. Or this is something so new that maybe like other trading platforms do not, implement it this way, but you guys did. And it's fun, it makes sense, it caters to the audience preferences, then it is great. So one thing that I was actually experimenting myself when I was polishing up Pacifica's UI was if there's a quick and easy way to make different skins for Pacifica. And this is also something that we have discussed internally as well. So what if someone just wants a pump fun type of perp terminal look, right? They want the nonstop flashing of words, and they want the adrenaline being pumped every single second. But someone may just prefer like a very sleek, simple, serious user face. So that's something that you really, really want to cater to user preferences. And this doesn't necessarily mean that it can only built by by us. There are a lot of people building different fun trading interfaces on top of Pacifica's infrastructure. Either it's on mobile or desktop, and there's just like so many things you can cook from that perspective alone. So again, this is just some very simple examples that I can give from thinking from first principle. But apparently, I think our community has been very creative, and actually, we encourage more creativity and fun things coming out of hackathon, because ultimately, you're gonna have fun for your life for whatever you're doing, right?
Exactly, totally agree. And Greg just mentioned before, I actually built something as well before. This was before the hackathon. It's called goldenpocket.xyz. And what it is, it's basically a trading journal that like analytics that show you your trading performance, like different types of analytics. You can take notes. And this is basically a tool that is out there for Perps access, but wasn't really there for Perp Dexes. And as someone who trades, I was looking for this. So I've built a really like a solution, you know, I went a bit more pragmatic. But as you just mentioned, and this is another thing that I find really interesting, because there are people that, you know, have maybe a gaming background. And I can just show you actually, because if I can share my screen real quick.
Yeah, this is great. I took a quick look. It looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that more sophisticated traders will like and want. But this is something that I've just today, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I've seen it today.
Yes, I've seen it as well.
Exactly. I mean, this is like something that definitely someone is building that maybe isn't really a sophisticated trader, because it's like so much, there's so much noise, you know, but it's gamified, and you know, there are noises. Yes. And this person also has a gaming background. And I have also a friend who has a gaming background. I kind of like the twist that they and with these things, you kind of don't know what will come out and what will actually work and resonate with other people. So it's definitely worth taking a shot, and definitely worth participating. And while we
you should build something. You should build something, something fun too, for this hackathon.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can. How long is the hackathon going again?
You have a month to go.
Oh, okay. So I have a very few.
Plenty of times. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I'll look into it for sure. I have a bit of a trading a hackathon background myself. That's how my Solana journey kind of started. So, and another thing that I want to say, as someone who went through the docs myself, the docs are basically like one of the best perp dex docs I've seen, and I went through like almost every doc. So it's really like easy to understand and use. So definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I don't know who did the docs, who've built it, but that person, you know, needs a raise maybe. But yeah, talking about hackathons, there's also the Colosseum hackathon coming. If you're in the broader Solana ecosystem, you'll know about Colosseum. It's basically the biggest Solana hackathon. Or it's actually more than a hackathon. It's more like a incubation
accelerator.
Exactly. And it's also for a week program. And I think it's especially interesting for the people, for the hackers here that are participating in the Pacifica Hackathon. I see like very few reasons to not ship the exact same thing for Colosseum as well. And we as Superteam Germany, we can help you with that. So if you're in the Germany area, or like in Europe, or even if you're not in the area, definitely reach out to us. Maybe we can help you take your idea further. So if you're building something cool for Pacifica, definitely reach out to me, to anyone of our team, and we will try to help you take your product to the next step, which kind of is the, I think, funny or interesting part, because you can participate in a hackathon, but then the next step, obviously, just like Constance mentioned, you want to monetize your app, which you can do perfectly with Pacifica and what Greg just showed us. There's literally like no reason for you to stop there. Let's take your app, your product to the next stage together.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So if you guys have any last words before we wrap up, any advice for the builders participating, or like general things you want to mention, maybe about the future of Pacifica, feel free to say it now.
Sure. Yeah. Firstly, really appreciate the opportunity of having this live stream with you and the Superteam German. We appreciate all the opportunities that communities initiated with us, and that's actually one of our core principles at Pacifica in terms of how we want to grow this business. We do not want to grow alone. We want to grow with everyone else that is possibly want to be on this journey with us. That's why we have been one of the first to run our builder program, and also one of the first to prioritize supports for the builders and ecosystem at such early stage and in the perp DEX space. So I think that's the overall tone we want to set for how we want to grow this business, not just trading, but also grow a builder community, grow a user community, and bring them together, and also work with you guys and also many community like you guys to grow our global presence. So it's not only pushing our products to global audience, but also pushing our builders products to more audience, so that they do not have to go through as much as of the pain of bootstrapping their business themselves, which I think is one of the biggest challenge that a lot of the top-notch developer team that are facing, because they do not have any go-to-market experiences. Also, if there are any builders listening, don't feel free to come and talk to us. We are always open for a conversation, and we are definitely happy to hold your hands through this journey of the hackathon.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone listening in, whether you're here live or watching it after doing recording. Look, like we've been building in the space for quite some time. We understand the process from 0 to 1 pretty well. So we're here to support you guys as builders coming through from ideation to feedback to helping you guys with go-to-market, a lot of different stuff. So very honored that we have a lot of teams signed up already, and we look forward to supporting all the future builders going forward.
Yeah, I guess pretty much what Jose and Constance have said. Thank you very much for having us. And from the very moment that anyone here listening has an idea that they want to begin building, to the moment that they actually want to start building, whether if you just want to discuss something with us or think with us and brainstorm, please feel free to reach out to us, whether it's on Discord, Twitter, or anywhere. I myself, as well as the rest of the team, will help you through it all the way from the beginning of navigating through the API to actually getting it out, setting up some AMAs and getting our community involved. So yeah, thank you for having us. Looking forward for more people to build on Pacifica, join the hackathon, and check out the Coliseum.
Exactly, you heard it, guys. Huge thanks again to Constance, Greg, and Josie for joining. Really appreciate you taking the time. Also, like if you're around in Germany or planning anything in Germany, definitely reach out. I think we are more than down to maybe do something interesting for the local community here as well. And for everyone watching, if you're from Germany and want support around building for a Colosseum, and kind of like take your idea from this hackathon even further to Colosseum and further, definitely reach out to us. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, and see you in the next one.
Take care,
Thank you.
guys.